The one deck I've been talking about since a while ago, and now we can sleeve up one of the cards. The Eldlich Mayakashi one. This one I also showcased before, but it was also 45. But now I shoved it down to 40 cards instead. Let's talk about it a bit. My card choices and how the deck works. Right? I've been waiting for this to be released in Master Duel. I really want to use this deck. This is just for fun. This is not really a good deck. There's a lot of like choke points here, very exploitable choke points, but it's really fun once it gets going. It doesn't put up a really strong board. It has a floodgate, and your full board usually is a 3-card combo. Not really that great, but it's aight. Right. So here is the Mayakashi Eldlich deck that I've built. This one was my baby. One of my first videos on the channel was a compilation of me playing Mayakashi Eldlich in Master Duel without any of the new support, without any of the Eldlich support as well. It's just raw dog in it. Now it's much better because of the new support. So let's talk about it. We play 3 Hajun. This is your best fucking starter. Hajun gets you into whatever you want. We only do play only 2 other Mayakashis, but Hajun is your best. He's your normal summon. He is like one of the best cards that you can start with because it bridges your engines really well. So the 2 cards you're gonna summon off Hajun is either Daki or Yuki Musume. A lot of the times you're gonna start with Yuki Musume, but I did find out that with enough non-engine and Eldlich in hand, you are able to break apart boards before going into Hajun. Because Hajun, with nothing else on the board, and if it's the only thing you can set up, you can, instead of going into Yuki Musume, you can go into Daki and basically clear out their board and have setup for their turn or interruption for their turn. Yuki Musume is the bridge for a lot of the stuff because you summon Yuki Musume from Hajun, and it lets you dump either Eldlich to start the Eldlich engine or the zombie world stuff or Baylor Drock if need be, if you already have the access to Eldlich. I bought this like years ago because I love the Mayakashis. We play 2 Eldlich. Sadly, we only have one of the sassy cards. The reason why we play 2 Eldlich is because a lot of the trap cards and stuff only work with Eldlich. If he gets banished, your entire Eldlich engine is off. So that's why you play at least 2. You don't want to play 3. If you play 3, he gets sometimes bricky in your hand, turn 1. But if you play 2, you have at least a spare copy if your Eldlich gets banished. For the Zombie World line, we have 1 Necroworld Banshee and 1 Baylor Drock. Only need 1 because you're gonna summon them or pitch them to the graveyard by the Makashis or the Eldlich engine. You don't really need more than 1. That's why we only play 1 of each. Getting Zombie World with Baylor Drock on the field is busted, really good, and also Zombie World is a floodgate.
Brother,
unfortunate that we have to play a floodgate, but that's how Baylor Drock rolls, baby. We play, for our spells, we play 2 Elixir of Black Awakening. This deck has a lot of 2-offs. I kinda don't like that, but I don't know how else to like make it work. You don't wanna open this as much as possible if you have other plays, because this locks you into zombies and there's no good link zombies. So getting locked into zombies isn't really the best. So you don't want to use this like just to summon Eldlich. You want this when Eldlich on the board so you can get either your Baylor Drock or your Necroworld Zombie. That girl. So the changes from the previous one was that now I played 2 Eldland. I played 3 before because opening this is really good, but I figured that by just thinking about it, opening this with nothing else kinda sucks because this just gets you your Hakero, your Conquistador. And without Eldlich on the board, this does nothing, right? So this is more of an extension than anything if you have already access to Eldlich in the graveyard. I might bump it, like, I change it up. This is a 40 card deck. I kept it as 40 as possible. We play 3 Delta of Invitation. This card is fucking bonkers, yo. I love this card. This card is fucking amazing. When they released this card, this made the deck much more stronger. Not really stronger, but more consistent. So Delta of Invitation lets you dump any zombie that's level 5 or higher, which means Baylor Drock or Eldlich. And it is a spell on field that Eldlich can use up in the graveyard to summon itself. Really great. You don't wanna use it to summon Eldlich though, because if you do, you don't get to use its other effect, which is to create a token. If you do have a June, you can summon a June first and then use the token so that, you know, you have more stuff on the field. But if it gets used by Eldlich, it also returns to your hand, which is great. You can just like get Eldlich in hand, not summon it, and then you can use Eldlich in hand with the Delta Invitation that gets added to your hand from the graveyard to just out anything you want. And we play 1 Zombie World. Only need 1. If it gets outed, what can you do, you know? But this is one of the primary things you want to set up. This with Baylor Drop. We play 3 Mayakashi Return, Mayakashi Searcher. What else do you need? You really want Hajun in your opening hand, so this is just more copies of Hajun. Or if you open Daki, you can get Yuki Musume instead. Or if your Hajun gets ashed or gets interrupted, you can use this to get Yuki Musume and becomes Extender. So this is both starter and extender. That's the reason why we only play 1 Yuki Musume, because we don't want to draw it, we want to search it or summon it from the deck. Alright. 2 Elixir of Sanguine. The main reason why I play 2 is to make space for the spell card, because this waits for your opponent's turn, and the way I built the deck, summoning Eldritch on your opponent's turn doesn't really do a lot. In this type of meta game, you want to have interruption on your opponent's turn, and just summoning Eldritch isn't enough as an interruption. You do get to search this by one of the combos that you do. That's why it's at 2. We also use the other one as like more follow-up. For the Golden Lands, we only play 1 of each. 1 Conky, 1 Hakero, 1 of the new one. Let's go sleeve up. Let's go sleeve it up. Let's sleeve up the English one I got. Yeah, baby. There we go. So we only play 1 of each because it's searchable. Opening 1 of these without access to Eldritch sucks ass. That's why we only play 1 of each. This will be your grind game. This is the only grind game you have. So you wanna search this when you're in a grind game, because it lets you set all of your Elixir or Golden Lands that is banished. So if you used it, you can use this. But you don't want to draw it, you just want to search it. That may be wrong, I'm gonna be honest, because I also wanted to play 1 Golden Land Forever. You do get a lot of zombies on the field if you go off. You get zombies on the field that you don't really need to use. That's why Golden Land Forever is good. It's just a monster negate, spell negate. A lot of the times you do want that spell negate, spell trap negate, because this deck has no negate. So if they just wipe your board, Regeki, your board's gone. If they wipe the back row, your back row's gone. This is your way of answering that. That's why I play at least 1. It's also searchable using Curse Eldland. That's why you want Curse Eldland as well. We also play Silhouette in this deck, of course. So we play at least 1 Hazard.
Son of a bitch.
The reason why I still want to keep Azurune in this deck, because if you don't have access to Eldlich, but you do have the ability to go to Silhouette, or at the end, if you go Silhouette, you can set 1 of the Eldlich spell and traps, right? But if they out your Eldlich, then that gets turned off immediately. That's why I wanted something that can at least be set up with Silhouette that is not reliant on Eldlich being on the board. That's the reason why we play at least one Azaroon. For non-engine, again, OCG, hi, 2 Maxi.
This is disgusting.
3 Ash for the Maxi. And that's all the monsters that we're gonna use. Because a lot of these, it's spell and trap heavy. No impulse, none of that, mainly because it's expensive. I'm broke! And also, a lot of your extra deck is conflicts with it. Hajun is wind, Taki is fire, and Kimusume is water. So you don't wanna like lock yourself out of it. So can't really use the Dominus traps. Although the new one could be good. This is still subject to change. This is non-engine 3 droplet, mainly because you want your stuff in the graveyard. Your stuff works in the graveyard. If you draw Baylor Draw, could be used to like send Baylor Draw to the graveyard. Your Banshee could be used to like put your Banshee into the graveyard. Good board breaker, also good going first. You can just set it. You do have a lot of zombies on the board that you can use for this thing. 2 called by for the Maxi and 3 imperms. One of the decks that uses imperms, mainly because it's a spell and trap. Sometimes in the grind game you want another spell and trap. Also, a lot of the combo uses a spell and trap to get Eldlich on the board specifically. You want some non-engine that can accommodate Eldlich if ever you need to, or you don't have one of the other spell and traps to use for the Eldlich effect. Okay, let's go to the extra deck. Extra deck, we play the Synchro line without, forgot his name, but we're not gonna play that one. The reason is his effect isn't that great. A lot of the times you only use him when your Link monster gets destroyed. And in my testing, this build specifically, a lot of the times your Link monster doesn't really get destroyed. There's a lot of ways to like get it out of the field. Getting that, the level 11 on the board isn't that really great, because at least this is a pop, monster pop, this is spell and trap. This mills not really that great because it also mills your opponent, could help your opponent, but it is a bridge, so we play it. And this one, in matches where they're trying to OTK you, you can use this so that all of your stuff is now immune to battle. So hopefully they won't be able to out this. For the Mayakashi links, we play 3 of Yugioh. The main reason why we play 3 is because Hajun and Yuki Musume, when they're on the board, they lock you into Mayakashis. And I want to prevent that as much as possible. Previously I played 2, but there are times when you want the 3rd one because you want to get into more extra deck plays, but you open Hajun. Hajun is a great starter, but you can't really go into anything because you're locked into Mayakashis. So this is a great way to like remove them from the board. We play 2 of the Link 3, mainly because you do go through both of them on your turn 1 setup. One could be interruption, the other could also be interruption, but could be used on the crackback when passes back to you and you have nothing, but you have Yuki Musume in the graveyard. You don't have any Mayakashis on the board. Now you can use the other one to potentially pop something else or whatever, mill whatever you need if you don't think it's gonna help your opponent. Now you have a Mayakashi on the board. Yuki Musume can now go to the field to continue your plays. And we only play 1 absolute 0. Main reason is that this is what you're ending on. If you do go to the Docky line, this card is a really bad negate. It's a very, very specific negate. If they summon something from the graveyard or they activate something in the graveyard that summons something, then you can negate. However, or if it's not, it doesn't trigger. That's why it sucks ass. But it's still a good monster to end on. It is a floodgate. We do want the Link 3 in the graveyard, so you do wanna go through the Link 4 at least. If they release better link for, then that would be great. But I doubt they will. For the Eldlich ones in the extra deck, we play the Fusion that we didn't pull, unfortunately, and one Mad Golden Lord. The reason for this, Mad Golden Lord is very easy to summon using Fallen Angel. That's why we play at least one. He's just good. He's just good to have. Could take your opponent's stuff permanently. So that's cool. A lot of the times using Fallen Angel, you do summon the Mad Golden Lord. It's very rare that you summon Eldlich from somewhere else. But there are times when you're gonna do that. We play one rabbit for our, of course, because we play a lot of like continuous spells that summon, continuous traps that summon themselves. That's why we play Silhouette Rabbit. Could get you into the Eldlich engine, could get you the Azaroon if need be. We play one zombie vampire. You rarely make this. A lot of the times you make this if you're forced to start with the Black Awakening. If you're forced to start with the Black Awakening, this is the only link to that you can go to get Fallen Angel to the graveyard. Once Fallen Angel's in the graveyard, you can use Fallen Angel's effect to summon an Eldlich from the graveyard instead of the Mad Golden Lord to get you another draw. This is a really weak start if you start with this, and that's your only setup. It's gonna be really weak, so that's why we only play 2 of these, but it is an option if you have nothing else. Sometimes in my testing, I opened with this. I use it to draw by summoning Eldlich from the graveyard, and then it drew me into Hajun, and then opens up my plays. We play one Link Spider because Silhouette Rabbit requires effect monsters. It's only a way for you to convert the token that you get from Delta of Invitation into an effect monster, and then you can go Silhouette Rabbit. So yeah, that's Mayakashi Eldlich. Really fun deck. I've tested this a lot. I'm very satisfied with this. The only thing that I would change is probably the ratios between the elixirs and the Curse Eld land. But aside from that, I'm pretty satisfied. I built this on my own. I didn't really look up anything. I just really like the Mayakashi stuff. They have really cool art styles. I really like them. And I like Eldlich too. And they kind of match. So that's great. Yeah, so that's the Mayakashi Eldlich deck.